I went to clinic when I was around 4 weeks. The nurse I got was so reluctant. Actually, she couldn't believe that whatever I was saying was true. I had to go for another test so that the nurse could attest that it is true you're pregnant. Hi, my name is Rose and this is my story. Rose is a daughter and a mother. I'm a mother of one kid who is 2 years old. Myself, I'm 25 years old. I was born in Nanyuki, Laikipia County, in a family of 4. I'm the last born. I have a diploma in journalism and mass communication. My occupation was, I was currently working with the county government of Laikipia at Nanyuki Teaching and Referral Hospital. I was working as a board member. Our contract ended July 2021. So currently I'm on job search. I'm open for opportunities related to journalism and mass communication, public relations, and all that. In my family, even in my extended family, I'm the only person who is a dwarf. But my grandparents says that very many years ago, they had a person who was a dwarf. So I believe it's a mutation that happened. Okay, my late dad at first was in denial. Having 3 sisters ahead of me who were Torah, then all of a sudden having a dwarf. Yet himself and my mother aren't dwarfs. It became a hitch, and the community around would bring the issues of maybe infidelity, the issue of infidelity on my mother. But later on, he got adapted to it and he accepted me as one of his child. Yes, she took a step, because that is when she took me to my grandparents, and she sought help, and that is when we realized that there was such a person very many years ago. We still didn't understand. Yes, there was such a person, but that person was not directly from our family. So we went to a specialist doctor who explained to us that such a thing would happen. I went to nursery school and I was good, no one complained. But when I got to grade 1, that is when issues began. The head teacher there could not accept that this child has attained the age of getting to grade 1. They thought that maybe I'm a special person who needs to go to a special school. So I was rejected in 3 schools before I got a placement in one of the primary schools. And we could go with my birth certificate to clarify that my age is appropriate for me to join grade 1. So that is when I realized that I was different. It had not hit me that I was different from all other kids. But when I got to grade 1, that is when I saw some kids are so tall, but myself, I'm so short. And they could laugh at me and they could mock me, and that is how I realized that there was a problem. I had a problem. Yes. it affected me so much in that I even at some point I drank. At that point I was so naive. I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything to do with suicide. So I drank Panadols, thinking that they would kill me, so that they can stop mocking me and all that. I had so much problems in that I could not concentrate in class. I always had headaches. I could always go to hospital. So that is how, that is when my mother sought counseling for me, and herself started encouraging me and telling me that even other special children even there are other special children just like me, and even worse. So it wasn't easy. I wouldn't tell you that I overcame after 1 year. No, it's something that took time before I accepted that condition. There are so many names that people call us, but the appropriate name calling such a person who doesn't have any other condition underlying behind is a short-statured person. If you say that, then that is good. Yes, I was in a boarding school. I went to a boarding school, actually a school that had so many challenges. It's a school in the desert. It's called St. Francis Girls Secondary. It's a school located in Doldol, a place called Doldol in Laikipia County. It's one of the most desert places. So you can imagine that it's a place where even getting water was mainly a problem, and with my height and all that, walking for a long distance was a bit of some challenge. And I remember at some point I almost gave up when I was in Form 2, but I was brought to Thika School for the Blind. I came there on holidays. I came to just do some I came there to visit a friend, and that is when I realized that my challenge wasn't a challenge. That was nothing compared to what I saw there, and that gave me the encouragement to continue pressing on. I came, saw some blind children. Some were on wheelchairs, yet they're blind. So that encouraged me to keep pressing on, and that is how my life changed, and I now accepted my condition. Actually, going to such a school made me accept my condition faster. My life, most of my life I spent it in Nanyuki, and there were two friends of mine who lived there. They were men, but I associated with them so closely to a point of people saying that they are my dad. One of them is my dad, but I didn't care because I just knew them from there, and I was associating them so that myself I can feel that I'm not the only one who has such a condition. But currently I have so many friends even from Mombasa, and let me say all over Kenya. I have so many friends who have such a condition. Yes, it is called SSK. It is called Short Statured Society of Kenya. It is everyone from everywhere, but mostly we meet in Nairobi. Those in Mombasa meet in Mombasa, such. One of the biggest challenges that I may talk about is getting a job. You find a job, you find a vacancy, you meet all the qualification, you apply. Then it happens that you are shortlisted. On the interview day, when the interviewer sees you, the very first thing, he judges according to my look. So maybe you even get disqualified before him or her getting to know what is inside you. That is one of the biggest challenges that we encounter. Another challenge is people don't understand that we are human beings. Some people think that maybe we are bad omen, we are out of curses from families. We came because of certain things like witchcraft or something, and people tend to disassociate with you. Some people even think that maybe you don't talk just normal like any other person would do. Some even make jokes thinking that you won't talk or you won't talk back. They think that we are not normal. So you find that some few people will make you feel like you are not a normal person. It's something that I was born with. So I've just adapted the normal way. It's the normal way. There is no other way that I can do such things. Using a public vehicle, I always understand that the very first seat, the front seat, may be a challenge for me. So I don't struggle for that seat. If the matatu is full on the other side, then I'll stay there and wait for another one. Things to do with at home. At home, I've adapted to work with a stool or a chair that is available for me to reach the point that I want. I don't require any help. So when I carry my baby, I use both hands for safety. That is something that I've adapted to compared to any other mother out there who may use one hand. For me, I ensure each and every time I use both my hands. Yes. In my previous workplaces, I've always had adjustable seats that can accommodate my height. Of course, the shelves and the tables are at a reasonable height, so I didn't have any other. It's a condition that you have short structures. That is why it's called short stature. Like if you look at my hands are short and extra short. There are people who are short but not really extra short. My legs, my whole body is actually short. One, that is the roughest moments that I had, because when the first time I realized that I was not pregnant and I was ready to go for clinics, I went to clinic when I was around 4 weeks. The nurse I got was so reluctant. Actually, she couldn't believe that whatever I was saying was true. I had to go for another test so that the nurse could attest that it is true you're pregnant. And when she realized that it was true, in that hospital, allow me not to mention the name, in that hospital, they have never seen a pregnant dwarf. So it was like they had to call all the nurses around to ask them if it was really normal and whether I could make it. I think that being a first-time mom made me feel like maybe I might die. But one of the doctors said research shows that it can happen. All I need to do is be close to a Ghana, and that is what I did. And with all my 7 months journey, I took 7. I might say it was rough, but it was good. The community around could not embrace it. Actually, I had to talk to the hospital management so that to block every visitor coming to see Ross, because everyone wanted to be a part of the visitor coming to see if it was really possible for her to deliver a kid. Yes, up and until now, it's 2 years. It has been 2 years. My baby is 2 years. Up and until now, there are few people that thinks that that is not my baby, and maybe it's somebody else. But I thank God. So far, so good. Yes. In my free time, I always enjoy being close to people who understand me. I spend much time with the few friends that understands me, because it has now gotten into me that it's not everyone will agree with your hate. It's not everybody who gets that it's a genetic mutation, something that it's something to do with a curse, it's something to do with witchcraft and so and so. So when I'm around people who understand me and who understands the condition of dwarfism, that is one of the greatest things that I do during my free time. I also enjoy watching clips of people living with disabilities, because that one inspires me a lot, that God indeed created me the best way than that person who is more disabled than I am. Yes, and I also do poetry. I'm also an actress, and sometimes I also play a role of. Sometimes I do comedy, but in a rare time. One, I would say that people have so many narratives. Like I said before, people think that either we are out of curses, or out of witchcraft, or I also had another narrative that few people think that we are a bad omen, that if I'm in this community, if I'm in Ngoingwa, that it doesn't rain because I'm in Ngoingwa. But all that is false. All those are mates. There is nothing like that. We are all created by God. Is the reason He knows better why He created us this way. One thing that I tell people is that He created us this way. He created us differently, so that you people, as you look at the other person, you can know there is God. If we are all created with the same hate, with the same skin color, with the same in the same gender, in the same whatever, everything else, we were created the same, having the same thing, it wouldn't be enticing to be in this world. Yes. One thing I know is people living with disabilities, no matter what kind of disabilities they have, they are very ambitious. I would want to encourage every person out there that having a disability does not mean that you're not ambitious, that you're not confident enough, you cannot do the normal task. What it is that we can do anything. It is just that we are differently abled. I might need to reach for that bulb up there, but I'll use a different mechanism. I'll use a different mechanism than what you will do. What I may need is just a little more time, but we all need the same opportunities. Let us not neglect someone because of the disability they have. That person did not choose to have that particular disability. It is a condition. Maybe they got into themselves into maybe an accident. Maybe others were born that way, and it is something that we cannot change, and it is something that the community cannot change. Okay, I may need to encourage a parent with a child who has a disability. One thing, you as a parent, you are all that person, all that child has. If it was not for my mom, I would have committed suicide earlier. But if you have someone who is closer to you, who tells you this condition is normal, this condition has ever been seen, you're not the first one, you'll not be the last one, you are just a child like any other. That child needs support. So please, if you have such a child, let him or her get exposed. Teach him or her how to adapt with the condition, and let them accept themselves the way they are. And may God give those parents and also children the serenity to accept the things that they can change. The note that I would have for them: please educate your child that we are all created differently. Don't let your child speak evil of that person living with disabilities. Let them understand that is the way God created them. Let's be considerate of each other as we aim to create an inclusive society. Thank you so much for watching this show. That is my story. I'm Rose Washington.